A few years ago, I made a promise to myself that I would run slow for 90 days straight, 10K. And to the people that watched my last video, this is what it looked like to run slow. Generally, embarrassingly slow. Every single easy run capped at my MAF heart rate, 138 beats per minute, zone 2, no gray zone, no ego runs, no track workouts, no sprints. And I was going to track it properly. MAF test, same course every 4 weeks. So these are what the numbers look like. Day 1, 734 per kilometer at my MAF heart rate. Day 90, 640 per kilometer. That's 54 seconds faster per kilometer at the exact same heart rate. Now, before you think that doesn't sound like much, let me show you what that means over a half marathon. And let me tell you what the first 30 days actually feel like, because it was not pretty. Now, you got to remember, using technology, there's always a bit of an error in the numbers. So I've always given myself at least 5 beats up, 5 beats down to correlate with any technology issue that may happen while you're on your run. It might be wrong, it may be right. I don't care, because look, that's just the way I roll. You may do it differently. Look, if you haven't seen my first video on this, here's a little bit of quick context. I run half marathons, trail races, ultra marathon, 10Ks, and I've been running on and off for about 10 years. And I was always stuck, always tired, never really getting faster, and being injured and starting all over and over again and again. I started looking into the Maffetone Method, Zone 2 training, and the idea was simple. Run at a low enough heart rate that you're generally running aerobically, building your base, burning fat as fuel, and staying out of the injury box. 180 minus your age gives you your MAF ceiling. And for most runners, myself included, running at that heart rate means slowing way down. So that's what I did for 90 days. Every easy run, strict heart rate cap. And I'm going to walk you through what actually happened month by month, so you can understand what it looks like in your training, to give you that motivation. Look, the first month was humbling, full stop. My MAF heart rate was 139 beats per minute. And to keep my heart rate under that, I was running at 725 per kilometer in good conditions. I'll run faster in warm-up laps, to be quite honest. The hardest part wasn't the slow pace itself, it was the mental game. I was spending so much energy in my thoughts. My watch was showing paces I never share on Strava. I had to walk up basically every hill. Now, there's this voice in your head that says, this can't possibly be doing anything. I should be pushing a bit harder. I didn't push harder, I trusted the process. By the end of week 4, I did my first MAF test and it was 7:13. That was my baseline. Slower than expected, honestly, but that's the point. It's an honest number. No adrenaline, no ego, no anything, just aerobic capacity. I would like to keep my heart rate between 138 and 140 beats per minute, as I know what that effort feels like. I'll be running the same route for the next 30 days. Okay, so some runs, they just don't go as planned, and it's okay. God, I feel like crap. The heck did I eat last night? Day, I don't know, whatever. It's raining now. And I just focus and go. But there are some days, like today, my calves are a little bit sore. Obviously, my heart rate was way higher on this run, and it's even hot outside, so God, it was just a crummy run. Fingers crossed my wife comes out of surgery okay. That's a bigger worry right at the moment. All right, here we have it. 3 days, the last 3 days of the month. My average pace 7:02, heart rate 138, cadence 165, 30 kilometers, 3.5 hours, 239 power, and I got a HR variability of 77. My sleep is about 7 hours, 23 minutes, and I am like stoked. It's day 31, guys, and I've been running every single day, and I'm just so happy that I've been able to do this adventure. Now, month 2 is when things really started to shift for me. My pace at my mat heart rate started to creep down, meaning I was running faster, the same effort, not dramatically, but consistently. I also noticed something else. My resting heart rate started to drop, which is awesome. Now my sleep quality really started to improve, and I stopped dreading those easy day runs because they were starting to become monotonous. But that second math test, week 8, came in at 7 minutes per kilometer, and that was 25 seconds faster than week 4. Again, doesn't sound like a lot written down, but the feeling was completely different. That pace used to feel like a moderate effort. Now it generally felt really comfortable. I also had a 5K that I was planning on running as well. So that was exciting in my little adventure that I was doing here. Now, with the consistency of running a lot of these 10-kilometer runs, 6-mile runs every single day, really taught me that consistency. Like, I finally started to get that feeling back that I had when I originally started using this Maffetone method. And, you know, usually after a long run, I'd be ruined. But just this consistent base building really started to improve things in a way that felt really good. I just finished running 10 kilometers or more for 30 days straight, and I decided to go for it again. 60 days, 10 kilometers or more every single day. The habit has changed, my feelings about running has changed, and I wanted to see how much more I could get out of it. I have to endure these longer, slow runs. I'm running in zone 2, and that's okay. My Maffetone pace is fairly close to zone 2. At the end of the day, if it's Maffetone pace or it's zone 2, really I'm training by heart rate, and that's what matters to me. I'm going to see the results one way or the other, just like I did in my 30-day challenge. And so it continues. 60 days of running. It's fine to be running 52 days straight, but I'm not going to risk, getting injury and being out for like months. So I do pay attention to what's going on in my body. Day 56, improvements. Improvements still happen every day. Sometimes they are a surprise to you. You don't see it sneaking up on you. However, today was one of those days. I was very pleased. Just got to keep putting in the time on my feet, and I got to keep on moving. Keep on running, keep the consistency up, but I do feel it. I feel a shift. I feel a shift in the right direction. When I started this whole running every day thing, this little path didn't exist. After 57 days of running, I created that path. I created that path that goes all the way through this grassy section. And the thing is you can create your own path. You just gotta put your mind to it. I'm pretty happy with how much I weigh. Weight is coming off nicely. Not in my 220s now. Yes, that's a win. God, this is awesome. Like, look at this. That's a half marathon, baby. God, it's been a long time since I've been able to run in zone 2 for a half marathon. Actually, it's been quite a while since I've run a half marathon, even with training. Like, that was May 1st, and before that, it was a long time. I am one very happy guy, and the endorphins and the dopamine, everything is going crazy, and I am like, yeah, I'm back. Since I started in the middle of August, and I've taken this through to the middle of October, this is what my graph looks like from when I started to where I am now. So you can see at the top is my pace. You can see it in the graph or the chart down below. But it was 7:25 for the month of August, 7:13 kilometer pace for September, and a 6:58 kilometer pace for October, with my heart rate being 139, 138.9, and 139.5. So it's all kind of in that range, which is fascinating to see. So yes, I am getting faster. I am able to run more, which is fantastic. And the amount of time that I'm spending out running, which is great. I've lost 12 pounds since I've started this whole journey. When you watch, I was able to track my heart rate variability. And so I've mapped that in orange, and my power, which is the yellow line. Obviously, the kilometers that I'm running per week is at the bottom here. The amount of time that I've spent running, which is at the very, very top, and then the pace that I'm running. So my last week of running was 6:53. Fantastic. But you can see how the chart can jump around, right? One week can be really good, and then the following week, you can kind of go up. So again, it fluctuates, and that's just normal. And then for when I was building my mileage, I like to start off slow, specifically at the beginning. Yeah, they say you can go ahead and jump 10% each week. I really didn't do that. I was very conservative, except in week 3. That's when I kind of jumped it up, right? I went up 17% in the one week. And then really I kind of settled on 1.3 each week. So I was only going up a kilometer. You can improve running in zone 2. You don't have to run at your Maffetone pace, but if you run in zone 2, you can see some really good results. Now, month 3 is where everything clicked completely. I stopped thinking about pace at all during my easy runs. I just ran to feel, and the heart rate monitor confirmed I was in the right zone. The effort level that used to correspond to 725, it now corresponded to 646 per kilometer. My legs weren't tired. I wasn't tired between any of these sessions. I was running more volume than I had in a long time because the recovery was actually happening. And the third, the MAF test, that week 12 at 646 per kilometer, that was just beauty. And that's the number I mentioned at the start. 39 seconds per kilometer faster than my first week at the exact same heart rate. Like, it may not sound like a lot, but to put that in race terms, if that improvement carried through into one of my half marathons, I would say that's roughly about 20 minutes off my finish time. And I really do believe that. You know, without a single workout above zone 2, without any speed work, just base building. Also, these numbers were averaged out for the course of each month. You know, being injured sucks. And I don't think any runner likes to hear any diagnosis. Specifically when they say, yeah, you're not going to be running for a while. But we've all been there. October of 2021, that's when things changed. I want to see what my body can do. I want to see what my limits are. My name's David, and I'm the plant-powered runner. My body just can't hold up to this training anymore. Or can it? It's been 30 days. It's been 60 days. And now I'm pushing for running 90 days in a row, 10 kilometers or more. Can I do it? Let's find out.
Hi there, sir.
How are you?
Good, how are you? How's that body of yours?
I am absolutely fantastic.
How many days in a row?
68.
Oh, wow.
68.
And
counting. Doing the last 2 weekends on Sundays, I did half marathon.
Wow.
So this.
It's 58 for today. And printed receipt.
Well, that turned out better than I expected. All right, just keep doing what I'm doing, because clearly what I'm doing is working. Question of the day. What are you training for? What race are you training for? Or are you taking the time to build your aerobic base? tired in the wee hours in the morning. I love it. I love the early morning, but this is when this starts thinking way too much. Cheers. Gonna be a beautiful day. Day 82. Here I come. Looking forward to this one. It's got to get easier. It really does. But I think I'm just getting faster. Not that it's getting easier. Good morning. And again, it's day 84. Time just keeps on ticking, my friends. Time to get out and do another 10K. What an epic, epic day. This is my fastest to date. Oh my gosh, the comeback is on, baby. While out showing properties, I always have lots of time to think about all kinds of things. And today I spent a lot of time thinking about when I was going to end this adventure. When was I going to land the plane? Because my body was talking to me, and it was slowly starting to weigh on my mind. 86, and it is windy today. Woo. And it's warm. Let's get out and continue on this crazy adventure. I don't know how many more days I'm going to do this. I think my body is maybe starting to tell me I need a little bit of rest. But we're getting close to another milestone. We'll see. Some people have asked me, am I overtraining? I have to say, like, this experiment with me running every day has really made a big difference on the quality of sleep that I'm getting, because man, when I put my head down, I am out. I don't wake up, the cats are bugging me and everything else. My wife has to kick me to get me up. Not that I want to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, the cats get me up at 5:30 in the morning, they do. A big thing for me to be able to continue to do this running everyday thing is stretching. I have to make sure that there's a proper warm-up and a proper cool down, because if not, I can slowly start to feel my muscles getting tight. I mean, look, there's no sugarcoating it. My body feels it. I feel it more and more the longer I'm going, and my watch doesn't even tell me that I need like a day's rest anymore. Now it's like all the way up to like I need 4 days rest. And maybe I'm overtraining. So let's talk about some of those things. My watch may say one thing when it comes to recovery, but my body may say something totally different. And it doesn't take the aches and pains in the muscles into consideration. So that's really where you got to pay attention to the cues that your body is telling you. Otherwise, yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. After 90 days, I ended up running a 10 kilometer with a pace of 6:34 in a time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, 5 seconds. And that was the fastest that I had run in a long time. So in that time, I was 50 seconds faster per kilometer at the end of this 90-day adventure that I took on. To chart my adventure, it's always interesting to see where the beginning is and where you end up. So when you start at 7:25 and you work your way down to a 6:46 on average on the month, it's pretty cool to see that you're moving in the right direction. The total amount of time that I was running per month ended up peaking at about 40 hours for the month of October. My heart rate pretty much stayed steady. So when I graphed out all of my runs for the 90 days, this is a weekly chart. But as I slowly continued on my journey, and of course, every week is not going to be good. You got some weeks that are kind of on average. It goes up, it goes down a little bit. Then I went ahead and did a 5K this particular week. So that's where it dropped a lot. And then obviously it went up again the following week. And then it continued to kind of go down again. And so this is the way it looks when you chart out all of your pacing, your mileage, your power, your heart rate variability, all of these things. It helps you results happening, at the end of the day, right? Because we just want to get faster. We want to stay injury free. We want to have fun while we run. It's why we do what we do. I mean, everyone's got their own thing that they want to get out of this, but For me, I like to see things on a chart. I like to see my progression. I like to see things on a monthly base, like a big picture, and then I like to zoom in and see on a weekly base, and then I like to see it on a daily base. And this chart that I've made pretty much gives me exactly kind of what I'm looking for on all of those factors. And the weight certainly came off, so that's a good thing. When I started off on this running 90 days in a row, my weight was 231. I'm now down to 215. So that is a good number, very sustainable, and I'm very, very pleased with how things have turned out when it comes to that. If I take a look at day 1 and day 90, there's even a bigger difference in time and improvement. Day 1 was 734 per kilometer. Day 90, 640 per kilometer. That's 54 seconds per kilometer faster. Now, I want to be clear. I'll be restarting this again now that it's been a few years, and I wanted to see what it looks like this time round, right? This is 90 days. Most coaches who use the Maffetone method say you need at least 6 months to a full year to fully build your aerobic base. And I'm going to agree 100%. I've gone through that process and I know exactly how it works and what the results look like. Now, I'm at the beginning at this all over again, but it's not the end. I've done this a few times. I've seen similar results time and time again. So I don't think it's going to be, different. However, the numbers may be, but the progress is clearly going to be in the right direction. Should somebody want to choose this type of training, the trajectory, I added this word in, the trajectory is real, the data is real, and the way running feels day to day is completely different. So a few things I would do differently this time around are, first, I would use my polar chest strap monitor from day 1. I started with wrist-based, and the readings were kind of inconsistent some days, specifically at the start of my run. So I switched the chest strap in, I think, week 3, and then everything became a little bit more stable. Second, I'd pick a better test route. I used a route with a slight uphill in one of the sections for the 90 days, and I think I'll switch it to more of a track test for all 3 that I'm going to do, right? Just to be sure that it's more consistent. And third, I would journal every day, right? I tracked the numbers, but not necessarily how I felt. I did a few videos and stuff, but I wish I had more of a subjective record along with the data. And fourth, I would have committed to this much earlier. It was a great experiment. So I wish I had done that. And one more thing, I'd have to get better at my diet and making sure the coffee comes after the run, because when you lose the weight, it clearly helps you to run faster, and then the coffee won't bump up my heart rate, right? So between those two things, it will certainly help with where my heart rate is. Look, at the start, I had been running 5 years on and off. I'd run a couple of marathons and stuff, but then I eventually found this process, and look, it's amazing. And I wish more people could find it. That's why I do these videos. So as a note, if you're still watching and you're over 55, you may have to play around with the beats per minute by adding additional 10, or maybe it's 5. Look, Dr. Phil Maffetone, he had a small amount of people in that age groups. So he mentioned that you may have to play around with the number and do a couple of tests to see what happens. And it's a test of 1, so everyone's going to get a different result. And what works for one person may not work for another. And the big thing is you honestly have to look and see what's going on in your life, because you're doing this for you, nobody else. So what happens now? Well, I'm going to keep building my base, another 90 days of the same approach, but I'm going to have 2 rest days. And then I'll add some structured work on top of that, maybe some strides, add some threshold runs, intervals, maybe some tempos. But once the aerobic base is solid, and then in a few months, I've got a half marathon in my head that I want to run, and I want to race it properly, and I want to see what this base actually translates to on race day, because I only did a ultra marathon on this method and a couple of half marathons, so it'll be nice to document it here. So if you did the slow running experiment after the last video, drop your results in the comments below. I want to see what happened for you. And if you haven't started yet, the first video is in the link below. Your map heart rate is 180 minus your age. Go find out how slow your easy pace actually is. And I'll see you in the next one. And like I always say, get out and run.